Welcome, traveler. Allow me to be your personal assistant into my realm. Come in, take a seat, get comfortable, for when you step into my realm, there's no stepping out.
Day 1. I'm so lucky I found this cabin. Where did that storm even come from? I was driving down a dirt road and my car just died. No warning at all. I was able to get it to the side of the road, but I don't know what happened. I'm so lucky I found this cabin before the storm got worse. I can't even see the trees anymore. I hope that storm passes soon so I can head back to that town. I'm lucky there is wood and even canned food. That stuff never goes bad. I'll make sure to pay back whoever owns this place. I put some wood in the fireplace and started a fire. Now I'm going to eat as I wait for the storm to pass. Though I swear I can hear someone outside, like screaming. It must be the wind playing tricks on me. I'll try to get some sleep. The storm must be really bad. It took a while for the cabin to warm up. Day 2. It's almost night and the storm doesn't seem to be passing. It might have gotten even worse. At least, that's what it sounds like. The wind is still wailing through the trees. I swear, there must be a draft. I can barely feel the fire, so I threw on some extra logs. Ate some food, but I'm still hungry. Gonna try to get some sleep. Hopefully the storm will blow over by morning. Day 3. Storm's worse. The wailing is even louder. It sounds like it's just outside. Part of me wants to open and see, but I'm scared to let more heat out. It's so cold in here already. I got as many blankets as I could find, but it doesn't seem to be helping. Ate some more food, but my stomach still feels empty. The frost on the window looks like a face staring in at me. This storm is getting to me. The wailing is the worst part.
The man closed the journal. The next entries were mostly gibberish. It looked like her hand was shaking too much to write properly. He ran his gloved hand over the monogrammed journal cover. The deceased must have brought it with her. He looked at the female body covered with 3 blankets next to an unlit fireplace, logs stacked high. Several unopened cans of various foods lay next to the corpse. He put the journal in the evidence bag, leaving it for the forensics. The man headed back to his truck. Glad it hadn't snowed in the last week, or he could have never followed these tracks from that abandoned car. In West Virginia, there's nothing for miles. As a trucker, it can be pretty lonely traveling alone. So, when the chance came for some company, I didn't hesitate. After days of traveling with no interaction other than some very disinterested and not very talkative truckers, I came across a lovely hitchhiker on a cold, rainy night. She seemed too young to be homeless, and it broke my heart. So, I took pity on her and allowed her into the cab of my truck. We're not permitted to pick up hitchhikers, but I said to hell with it. I was in real need of some human interaction, and I couldn't just leave her out there. Pulling the truck over, the young girl opens the door and gets in.
Oh my god, thank you so much for pulling over and giving me a ride. I've been walking for days, and no one seems to pick up hitchhikers anymore. I totally blame the movies. Like, look at me. What could I even do to someone? I'm so tired and haven't had a proper meal in days, so it's nice to at least be in a warm, dry place and out of that cold rain.
No worries, little lady. May I ask how old you are? You seem far too young to be homeless.
I'm 18. Right after graduation, my parents kicked me out of the house, and I have nowhere else to go. So, here I am, homeless, and in a cab with some old guy, who, for all I know, wants to kill me or do some very scary things to me.
Whoa, little lady. I just stopped to help. No one forced you into the cab of my truck. If you want out, you can leave, now. I just saw that you needed some help, and being that my mama raised me right, I'll stop to assist you.
Ashamed, the hitchhiker looked at the floor of the truck and quietly said, "My name is Allie. I'm sorry if I offended you." Allie continues, "I'm very grateful for the ride, but do you have, by chance, anything to eat? Like I said, it has been days since I last had a real meal."
The trucker eyed her, then breaks out into a big smile. Well, Allie, it's nice to meet you. No need to be ashamed. I get it. Nowadays, you can't just go around trusting strangers. Now can you? I'm Dave. And yes, of course, I have some food I can make for you in the back of my truck at the next stop.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Thank you so much. How long is it until we get to the next truck stop?
It will not be for another couple hours. I have a lot more driving to do before we reach the truck stop. If you need something to hold you over, in my lunchbox there is a bottled water and a granola bar. Help yourself to them.
Looking at Dave, still not fully trusting him, decides not to take him up on the offer. Instead, she continues to talk to him. "So Dave, you got a wife or kids?"
Actually, yes. Me and the missus just celebrated 40 years together. And as for the kids, none that live at home with us. They're all grown up and out of the house. Never been quite the same without them, if you know what I mean.
That's nice. I really want kids, but I gotta figure this whole homeless problem out first, before I can even dream of having a future with someone. What are the names of your wife and kids?
My wife's name's Teresa, and my boys are Alex and Little Jack. They're my world, and I would do anything for them, even work this crappy third shift trucker job. The pay isn't bad, nor is the job, but the hours were killer when the kids were growing up. I missed a lot of important moments, and I didn't get to spend much time with the wife either. If you open the glove box, my wallet is in there, and you can see the pictures of my beautiful family.
Allie opens the glove box and gets Dave's wallet out. As soon as she opens it, she sees many photos of his beautiful wife and amazing children. Allie can't help herself. She says, "One day, I hope to have a family just like yours."
Dave and Allie spent the next few hours just laughing and exchanging stories. As Allie grew more comfortable and started to trust Dave, she asked,
"Is the offer for water still good? I'm very thirsty."
"Yep. Help yourself to whatever you want. We should be getting to the truck stop soon, so you can get some real food in your system."
Thank God, I'm starving. I would literally eat anything at this point. Oh, is that the truck stop there?
Oh, well, would you look at that? We were closer than I thought. Alright, looks like it's chow time. Well, let me get the truck pulled into the parking space and do my books, then we'll eat. Sound good to you?
Hell yeah, that sounds amazing. You've been such good company, and I've enjoyed our talk.
Me too. It's been so long since I've had a great conversation like this. It's really been a pleasure to get to know you. Well now, if you want, we can go back to have a bite to eat.
That sounds fantastic. Are we going to go into the truck stop and eat? Allie thinks to herself, I've gotten to know him a bit better, and he seems nice enough. But do I trust him enough to take food that he offers me?
No. No need to go in there unless you need to use the restroom. My wife always packs a large amount of food, and I've got a hot plate to warm it up. I mean, just look at that place. I wouldn't trust anything that comes out of that shithole. Today, my old lady packed a nice roast with some potatoes and mixed veggies. Now, tell me, how's that sound?
Yum, it's been so long since I've had some home cooking.
The excitement was clear in her face, and her apprehension and doubt completely vanished. After Dave had finished his books, he exclaimed, "Ah, okay. Well, how about that food now?" She got right up and followed after Dave, and followed him to the back of the truck. There's not a lot of room back here, but I do have a pull-out tray table you can use. Going to work, he turned on the hot plate and warmed it up. Grabbing a small skillet, he went to work, warming up the food that had been packed for dinner. By the time Dave was finished warming up everything, the truck smelled wonderful. Dave sat down Allie's plate on the tray table and sat down in the driver's seat. As they ate, Allie noticed that this didn't taste like beef, but just figured maybe it was pork roast instead. The conversation flowed easily, and she enjoyed her meal. After all was said and done, she was stuffed. Standing up, she turned around and stopped as Dave spoke. "Well, now that you helped me empty the last of my old stock, looks like I will need to replenish it. Now won't I?"
Allie slowly turned around to ask him what he meant, but before she could ask the question, something hit her hard, and her world was enveloped in darkness. Waking up, she had a hard time focusing on her surroundings. She thought she may have a concussion. Minutes later, she was finally able to focus on her environment, only to realize she was upside down in a meat cooler, and her feet were bound by chains strung up on a meat hook, while her wrists were tied firmly by a rope secured to concrete slabs on the floor. The longer she was conscious and more she struggled, she felt the blood rushing to her head. It sounded like her heart was in her ears. While attempting to scream, she realized she was unable to properly breathe, and this caused the blood to rush to her head and almost make her black out several times. The door slowly opened, and Allie once again attempted to scream for help, to only realize the person who stepped in the cooler was Dave.
"Well now, look who's awake. Now, little lady, there's no need to try and scream. It'll only cause you more pain and stress. No one likes bitter meat."
Allie responded in a rough whisper, "Why are you doing this? Please let me go."
Dave begins to laugh harshly. "Oh, I think we both know, my dear, that won't be happening. Even if I was so inclined to do so, you would just run to the cops. And we can't have that now, can we?"
Allie began to cry. "Please, Dave, what would your family think? Just let me go. I promise I won't tell anyone. Why are you doing this to me? You treated me so well. I'd be willing to help you. Lure more people here, if you spare me. Please?"
Dave bends down. "I don't think that's in the cards for you, little lady. And after all, you enjoyed that roast, didn't you? Well, let me tell you what that was. That was the last fella I gave a ride to. You enjoyed him. Only fair that you take their place. And, as for my family, you think them pictures were actually my kin? It's all an act. This is my family. We built this truck stop. We've been living in these parts for ages. This is my family tradition. When our young come of age, and our pa takes us out on a hunting trip to bag us a long pig." Right after Dave finished speaking, Allie slowly sees a shadow come up from behind her. Dave speaks again. "And you're in luck, little lady. My boy just come of age, and is going to bag his first kill." Allie feels a tug of the back of her head, and the sting of cold steel across her throat. She feels a brief pain, and hears the gurgling of her windpipe as she fades into the dark void of emptiness. Tonight's story, The Cabin in the Woods, was written by 242 Reads, and Fresh Meat was written and narrated by myself, as well as 242 Reads. Her channel links will be down in the description. Check out her channel and sub if you're new. Also, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell to get all of my notifications as well.
And remember, traveler, once you step into my realm, there's no stepping out.